So you want to rent a jet ski, wave runner, personal watercraft? Sweet. But let's first make sure you're aware of all the restrictions, operations, and dangers, because your safety is our #1 priority. I'm Shane, and I'm going to help you navigate these emerald green waters. So let's get started. First, let's talk about the requirements of renting a personal watercraft. Depending on the type of PWC, there are maximum weight limits and number of passengers. The rental operators require the driver to be at least 16 with a valid driver's license and boater's license. You got to be at least 18 years of age to sign the rental contract, so have a parent or guardian present if you're under 18 and you plan to drive. Got to bring your ID card along with a fully charged cell phone in case of emergency. If you're born on or after January 1st, 1988, you'll need to take a Florida boater's test, which can be done online. If you don't pass it, you can't drive, period. Before you jump on the jet ski, let's do a quick orientation of the vessel. You'll find the fire extinguisher located here, but honestly, if you experience a fire on your vessel, just jump off and swim away. The storage under the hood is not dry storage, but feel free to store items here that could get wet. As for a dry storage, that'll be here. You'll be instructed on where your vessel registration is. You'll need this, your driver's license, and boater's license if required. Your life jacket needs to be worn at all times. Be sure to make sure all buckles are securely clipped. Don't wear the orange Type 2 life jackets. Not only do they look ridiculous, they're not allowed by law. You'll have a sound-making device, such as a whistle. Use this in case of emergency to get someone's attention, just don't abuse it. This is your safety lanyard. Should be connected to one of the buckles on your life jacket. And make sure it's rebuckled. For Yamahas, the kill switch will slide under the button on the handlebar. If you're on a Sea-Doo, it'll plug right here underneath the handlebar. To operate, you'll have an on-off button. You press and hold until the engine turns. Don't give any throttle when starting. The stop button can be pressed at any time to turn the PWC off, or just pull the kill switch out. If you fall off, that'll shut off the engine immediately so it doesn't run away from you. If you attach it to your wrist, that could slip off, which isn't going to help you much once you fall off. Throttle is always on the right handlebar. Some models have only forward. They're all jet propelled, so when you're steering it, you have to give it gas to get it to turn. If you turn the PWC and let go of the throttle, you'll still be going straight. For other models that have forward, reverse, and neutral, you'll see on the left-hand side is your reverse. If you depress it, you'll decelerate. If you depress it and let go, it'll go into neutral. Here is your dashboard. You can see your RPM and fuel gauge. Make sure you always have plenty of gas for your trip. If you're low on gas, you'll hear an alarm for it, which is your signal to go back to the rental company and refuel. All right, so there's a couple warning labels we need to talk about. So sorry guys, no bikini bottoms. Good rule of thumb for a 3-passenger vessel is to ride 2 adults or 1 adult and 2 small children so you don't flip over as easily. If you do have more than 1 person on board, always remember to keep your weight centered. If you lean to one side, it's going to tip that way and you're going to fall off. If you fall off your PWC, the kill switch will turn the engine off in most cases. If it doesn't, be sure to turn off the PWC before boarding. If the driver stays on but the passenger falls off, be sure to turn off the PWC as you get close to the passenger in the water so they can board. If you fall off, you gotta swim to the back of the PWC, grab the handle behind the seat, and climb back on. If you try and climb up from the side, you'll cause the PWC to flip. If it flips upside down, make sure the wave runner's off, swim to the back, flip it over in a clockwise direction to keep from getting water in the engine. Once you're back on, stay low and get into a sitting position, and be sure to reclip your lanyard before trying to start it again. Please make sure you are physically fit, because it's going to take some arm strength to be able to pull yourself up straight out of the water. Try to avoid running over any seagrass or other objects that you see on top of the water. If you run over it, you're going to notice a decrease in speed. When it's clogged and you give it some throttle, you'll notice a loud vibration. If you encounter this, just shut it down and get off in the water. Go towards the back of the PWC by the handle next to the seat. Then put your chest right here and reach under the PWC and you'll feel the intake grate. Just pull the seagrass off of that. If you're unable to remove the debris, feel free to contact your rental agency. If an alarm goes off, it may have overheated, so just let it cool off for 5 minutes before turning it back on. Another reason for an alarm is if you're in shallow water, which is 2 feet or less, where the PWC can suck up sand and overheat the engine. Just turn it off and let it cool for 5 minutes. To avoid losing time, I recommend pushing your PWC out to deeper water and then turn it on. While operating, always make sure to look in front, around, and behind you. Keep your head on a swivel and always pay attention to other boaters. Be sure to ease into the throttle and get used to the unique characteristics of the PWC that you're on. The throttle is very sensitive. From 0 gas to full throttle is only about an inch, so be careful until you get used to it. Again, always remember there's a delay from de-throttling to actually stopping, so give plenty of space around you. PWCs are small and hard to see, so assume that you're not visible and slow down giving way to all larger vessels, as you can maneuver easier than they can. Be sure to follow all the rules of the road, such as when you're being passed by another vessel, you are to maintain speed and direction. If a vessel approaches on your right-hand side, that vessel has right-of-way. If unsure, stay to the right when confronting another vessel in a head-on situation. If you do have right-of-way and fail to avoid a collision, you are guilty as well. When you're operating in a speed zone posted as idle speed, no wake, you must operate under 5 miles an hour so that you can maintain headway and steerage way. Stay 100 feet apart in no wake zones and 300 feet away when going faster in open waters. Once you pass the resume normal operation sign, you can open it up. Keep in mind, if there is congestion, continue going slow until you are clear. Be sure to stay alert at all times and be prepared to give way to other boaters. If you see a dive flag, Florida law requires you to stay 300 feet away from it. And if you see any other types of buoys in the water, keep at least 100 feet away from them. If you see any fishermen, please keep your distance and respect them. Stay 300 feet away from shore and from any docks. No jumping or horseplaying or spraying each other, and don't play chicken. Don't participate in any activity that puts any other person's safety in jeopardy. And I shouldn't have to say this, but don't drink and drive. You're gonna get a BUI, you're gonna put a lot of people in danger, and you're gonna be liable. So don't be that guy. If you're at Crab Island, which is a no-wake zone, there is a significant amount of boats and traffic. It's very important you pay close attention to your surroundings and constantly scan your area for other vessels to avoid a possible collision. We recommend you avoid this congested area altogether and head to the northern part of the bay past Crab Island. The east and west jetties contain sharp rocks and strong currents. Serious injury and damage has occurred here. Your best bet is just to steer clear. The East Pass and Gulf of Mexico can be dangerous. Some rental operators don't even allow their equipment out there. If yours does, we recommend using the buddy system and going with another PWC. Keep in mind, you must stay 700 feet away from the shore at all times by law. Speaking of which, there's all sorts of law enforcement out here enforcing the law and providing assistance. If you see any of these vessels with their lights on, please give way immediately. If you get pulled over, be sure to turn off or put your PWC in neutral so an officer can moor up to you. When dealing with an officer, make sure to comply. They're going to inspect your fire extinguisher, your vessel registration, driver's license, and boater's license if required. I'm going to say it again, don't drink and drive. A vessel operator suspected of boating under the influence must submit to sobriety tests and a physical or chemical test to determine blood or breath alcohol content. Let's talk about what happens when there's an accident. The most common incidents almost always involve speed and careless operation in congested areas. Do not leave the scene of an accident without reporting to the proper authorities. Anyone who operates a vessel with willful disregard for the safety of persons or property will be cited for reckless operation. Be safe. Don't be a statistic. We can't wait for you to visit the Emerald Coast and explore our little slice of paradise. We want you to have a great time with family and friends, and your safety is important to us. Be considerate, cautious, and use your best judgment, and you'll have an amazing time. For more information about personal watercraft regulation, rules, and where to book, visit boatokaloosa.org. Now get out there and have a great day out on the water. I'm Shane. Maybe I'll see you out there.